Hello, my glorious epic army. It's your pal Nova back with yet another Ashes of Creation update. However, this time, we get to talk about some MMORPG news and, well, just a tiny bit of Battle Royale, but I'll keep it to a minimum. I do have some things to talk about, some gameplay to show you, a little bit of question and answer to go over, and lastly, there's a link in the description below for the full live stream plus the 30 minutes of MMORPG gameplay for you to check out. Let's break it down.
Oh, let's break it down!
Alright, we start with a small update on the MMO side and find out they're still several months away from Alpha 1, which is called Alpha 1 Phase 2 or Alpha 0 Phase 2. I don't know, they got some weird naming. Anyway, Alpha 1 is where we're going to have the live persistent servers with MMORPG to play. Today they showed off 30 minutes of gameplay and a voiceover, and this is all set in the Apocalypse, the Battle Royale map. That's all set in that same map, except they took all the MMO elements they've been working on and threw it in there. Note, you still are going to see some tab targeting in this combat, as we don't quite get to see the hybrid combat in action yet. They said the action combat is not quite worked in to the MMO side, but that's a work in progress. Hopefully that'll be ready for Alpha 1. Looking at this, the first things I personally noticed was the quest log looks a lot better. The UI in general looks a lot better. Minimap seems to be better than past iterations. The dialogue boxes are actually something now compared to junk before. I didn't notice the party UI. There was no player life on both the party members, the players, or the NPCs or the mobs. However, they did mention in the Q&A that this was all done because it's just testing. They wanted to get something to show us that this is all a work in progress and we should see it all fully complete for Alpha 1. They also said the FPS drops we're seeing in this are due to it not being optimized for that area yet, and that will be fixed. We also get some FPS news for the Battle Royale at the end, and they mentioned that that's going to be better. In my experience so far, it has not been good. Next up, we get to see a city stage level 5 node. That's what they're running through at the moment. We also get to see the panel, which gives you information about the node you're currently in. It tells you who the mayor is, gives you all kinds of information. But something notable to me was we get to see the different stages. Stage 1, Crossroads. Stage 2, Camp. Stage 3, Village. Stage 4, Town. And Stage 5, City. And finally, Stage 6, Metropolis. We see trade agreements, alliances, and war with others as all things in this dialogue. We get to see a count of citizens, which 21 seems quite low for a city, but it is testing. And a tax rate. We also see economic health, troops, and if anyone is paying fealty. All this information leads me to believe that this node system is going to be quite in-depth with some pretty cool mechanics, including managing the city, keeping the citizens happy based off tax rate, making trade agreements with other nodes, stopping wars, starting wars. This could be pretty in-depth and pretty fun. Again, we do see tab targeting combat, and they mentioned that they're in the early stages of getting the action combat integrated into the tab targeting system. We do see a UI that shows that they have fishing in the game, or they will. However, they wouldn't show off fishing. There is a difficulty rating, though, we see in the UI. Times a day to catch the fish and different types of bait. Typical MMO fishing stuff. Next up, well, that was actually it. That was the gist of it, really, from what I gathered. I watched the whole 30 minutes. You see some combat, you see some questing. They did a few quest steps. I don't know what else to add to it, but we shall jump into Q&A next, and I will continue playing the footage in the background so you can tell for yourself. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything cool. First question. Economically, will the marketplace have a min and or max, and what are your thoughts on auction houses? And they answered that auction houses are limited to economic nodes. They don't want to regulate prices, so there will be no min or max, and they will give an average pricing over a time period so you can make an educated guess on what you should charge. They would like people to be able to play markets, move items between cities and markets, and like buy low, sell high sort of thing, make profit off the markets just playing the markets. Next up, can we keep friendly fire? Because if you notice during this MMO footage, there is friendly fire. And they said, we saw friendly fire in this playthrough, but it was an accident. They did not mean for this to be in this build. It's just a stay over from Ashes of Creation Apocalypse. There will be no friendly fire in the game, but there will be open world PvP as well as a flag system. You mentioned potion launchers last time, and we saw it in testing. Can we switch out ammo types? Yes, you can switch out ammo types in the potion launcher, and this will be shown a lot later in the Apocalypse City Sieges mode. And they actually have that built in right now with 2 different ammos, but they plan to make it a lot more. You can change things a lot more. Next up, the map will be 480 square kilometers. How will you keep it interesting, and will it change with updates? So what they said here is areas will change with new updates and new releases, but players are going to be the ones that really make changes to the areas and discover things and cause all of these other different things to change as they play and develop nodes, and however nodes interact with each other, and what type of node grows, and all these different variables will actually unlock new stuff in the game. So they're really looking to see servers with different games going on, different things unlocked, and they even talked about really wanting to test that with multiple servers, but they don't know if that's going to be viable yet. How much better will the frame per second get in the MMO testing? The current Battle Royale frames per second is pretty bad. I'm on that bandwagon. It sucks for me. I don't know if you tried to watch some of my stuff for it, but it's almost unplayable at this point. Now, what did they answer? They said they're still optimizing Battle Royale to get better FPS out of it. They actually were hoping to do some of that this past weekend. I didn't notice much change when I played, which was Sunday, I think. They said in previous tests you actually could not scale the graphics down all the way low. It was stopped at like midway, but they have added that in now, so that's great. They want the world to look good, but at the same time they need to make it playable for everyone. Unreal is very good at scaling, they say. Right now I can't play Battle Royale for shit on the lowest graphics settings. I have an i7 7th generation, but my graphics card is 1060 with only 3 gigs of RAM, so that is my bottleneck. But come on now, I play most games on high settings. Next up, when will we see mounts? Not the Battle Royale mounts, but proper ground mounts. And they said mounts will be part of Castle Siege update in Apocalypse, which should be coming within a couple of months. Next up, is questing going to be part of the experience, or are we face rolling to get to the end of that game? I don't know any MMOs that are just face roll quests. Nah, you guys probably can't find any either. So, the answer, there will be no face rolling. Questing will affect you whether you take part in it or not, so get your voice heard. This sounds something to me like questing, doing quests and completing stuff is going to change the world based on what players choose. Maybe the majority wins sort of thing. And they also said there isn't really an end game as you would be used to in traditional current MMOs. The node system is really the end game, which makes the game constantly change as nodes grow and get demolished as they start wars with other nodes, all this stuff. Whatever players do in the world really changes the world. More up-to-date timeline was the next question, and they said as they approach Alpha 1 they will update the timeline. They're scheduling their next event soon, and when they tell us that, and when they have that event, that is when we will get an updated timeline. Next question was, what are trade agreements, and how many can you have? So what they said is there's not really a limit right now, but they're talking about limits and putting some controls on it. So those would be something like the node level, what might be your limit. But the mayor and citizens could get additional slots by building certain types of buildings in the node. The trade agreements are set up to benefit both cities and will make changes to both nodes, so both nodes will benefit. NPC caravans will move things between nodes, and citizens need to help protect them. So that's one of the things they use as an example of how it'll benefit both nodes. There'll be NPCs to move goods between the nodes. So one node gets materials from the other node and vice versa. Win-win sort of thing. However, remember that caravans can be attacked. So you need to protect them if you want to keep your nodes viable. Next up, can a landlocked node have access to shipbuilding? What they said here is nodes don't have shipbuilding on them. Like, it's not attached to the node, but what they can do is hook into a dock that will allow players in the node to shipbuild. So yes, to answer the question, all nodes can access shipbuilding. How much importance do you give to player interaction, and give examples of one you are proud of? So what they said here is, yes, this is one of our main pillars. Crafting is one of the examples of where this is built to be super interactive with players, as you will need players around the community to work together with different crafting classes to finish high-end crafts. There are social areas that can give you mechanical benefits is another example if you spend time and or interact there, such as playing cards or darts in a tavern. The other thing is players can actually create and run these taverns and shops, so there's that side of social too. Can we use fishing nets? Yes, both off ships and on ships. You can do it from the ship. You can do it from standing in the water in a river. Said you can catch fish with nets. Will every NPC be approachable? Probably not. They would love to have a response from every NPC when you talk to them, but that is a crap ton of work. If they can fit this in, they will definitely do it, but they are only looking to make the main important NPCs talk to you at this moment, maybe in the future. How in-depth will the stock market be? Well, this was news to me. I didn't really know there was a stock market going on. And the answer is very in-depth. There will be events in the world and organizations that hold stock. Organizations are basically guilds. How those organizations react to events will cause their stock to rise and fall. There is also a cap to the amount of stock, and that will increase and decrease based on the organization and how they grow or shrink. You could play these markets and do very well economically in this game. This can also cause another layer of complexity to how guilds interact. So think about a big guild and that they're able to take ownership of something and build their stock, and you as a player who buys stock with them now want to help them build and grow so that your stock that you bought low grows and you can sell it high. So that's the sort of things where you're going to get guilds working together. On the flip side, some people might want to crash that stock so they can benefit from that. Next up, do monsters' difficulties scale based off your level? The answer here is no. The monsters scale off the zone in the nodes. So there's different areas of the node for different monster types. And as the node levels up, the monsters level up. If the node levels down, the monsters level down. For example, there might be 25% of the mobs in one area or one node be level 1 to 5, 25% would be 5 to 10, etc., etc. However, they said the percentages are just a talk example sort of thing. They're not doing 25% specifically, especially considering that things like roads and proximity to the city, proximity to roads, proximity to different nodes, and how far away they are, if they're in forest, if they're near the ocean, whatever. This all affects the type of mobs, the strength of mobs. They don't want a new player to have to just get murdered every time they try to walk between nodes, so the roads kind of protect them a little bit. I mean, there's going to be NPCs guarding the roads, which help fight the monsters too, that kind of thing. Next up, since training between players is allowed, how will you block gold sellers and stuff? What they said here is there's a big barrier to entry to block gold sellers, but they're looking to monitor interaction and things to catch gold sellers. They said they have a lot of systems in place. They're constantly monitoring how players are interacting with the game to try to pick up on what gold sellers typically do, because a computer acts a certain way, players act a different way. If they can pick up on that quickly, they will just take care of the gold seller right away. And the last question, will there be trade hazards such as krakens at sea? So this one made them think a little bit, and they said they think that these types of hazards are actually really fun. They create super cool interactions that you remember forever. So yes, these things will exist. There will also be bandits and node events that affect caravans. Remember we said caravans, NPC caravans will bring goods between. Well, something has to attack them other than players possibly. So there will be some NPCs attacking those, some bandits. Just fun things that happen as you're playing the game to make you say, wow, that was a cool event. Whew. So there it is, boys and girls. Yet another update on Ashes of Creation. This one gives us a little more taste of the MMORPG, but I was really hoping to get more out of it. That's okay though. I still like this game. I like the direction it's going. I like the open development. I like to watch the game change. I like to keep you guys informed, and I don't know. I'm hopeful that this will be the one that holds me for a while. But time will tell. We still got another year before this game comes out, probably. So let's just continue to monitor it. Let me know in the comments below how you guys are feeling about this game. Did this update change you at all? Does this make you more scared? Does this make you want to back out? Does this make you more excited? Did I miss stuff in there that maybe I should have seen? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Anyway, this has been your pal Nova with you from Less Than Epic. Have a good one and get good scrubs.
Hey, it's Radit here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as well. It really helps out the channel. We put out multiple new videos each week and we appreciate all of your support. Thanks for watching, everyone, and cheers.